everyone, and welcome to White Jasmine Everyday Cooking. I'm Huma Siddiqui, and as you know, I just love to create simple, easy, but flavorful recipes. So today we have a very exciting show because I'm not the only one who is going to be talking the whole time. So you would not get bored this time. We have a wonderful guest. Her name is Laura Houlihan, and she is the publisher of Bravo magazine. I'm sure that almost everybody in the Madison or Wisconsin knows what Bravo is. But just so you know, it is just one of the premier magazines for women and for men. I mean, I don't want to be just feminist about it, but also it has recipes, it has everything that anybody would like to see what's going on these days in the world with lifestyle, style, of course, fashion, food. So you don't want to miss that. So today we have Laura, and she's going to prepare this turkey loaf recipe. And I do have to say something that when I looked at the recipe, it said ketchup. So maybe I just didn't know what that was about, and was it ketchup or ketchup? So she's going to be here to explain to you what it's all about. And also it's a learning experience for me as well. So having said that, I just wanted to make a couple of dishes to complement the turkey loaf. So I'm going to make some roast potatoes with, of course, some of the spices and some good stuff. And then also some of the peppers. I saw these beautiful peppers, and you know how I am about colored peppers. It's always, I'm going to make something out of it. So I'm going to make this dish with fire roasted tomatoes, zucchini, and some garbanzo beans. So hang in there, and let's see what we can do today. How much damage can we do? So I'm going to just take some red potatoes and chop them. Let's add these. And well, lost one, but that's okay. You can use yellow potatoes, you can use any kind of potatoes that you like. I just wanted to make red potatoes because the color of the skin looks really, really nice with everything that I want to add to it. And you also know, if you've been watching my show, that how I am about how food should look. It should just look pretty, and it should have a lot of color, and that makes it very appetizing. So let's put this in, and I have left my oven to be at 425 degrees. And you can, make them bigger pieces if you like, but I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller so they cook pretty fast. And this is quite healthy, actually. We'll just add some spices, some olive oil, green onions, and throw that in there. I like to make my potatoes, differently, every time. So try and experiment with different ingredients. As you know, White Jasmine philosophy, always experiment. Use my recipes as a guide and just do whatever you want to do with it afterwards. So let's get all this in. And sort of halfway, I just wanted to add, let's see, I have some red peppers, some dried chilies. I want to add those for the heat. So throw in a little bit of that. And when you will get that little piece in your mouth, we always talk about that food should be a little party going on in your mouth. That's how it should feel like. So this will definitely make that happen. Let's add some salt. If you want to make it hotter, go for it. A little bit of that. Before I add the rest of the potatoes, let's add some olive oil. And then I'm going to just add another layer to this. Throw that in there. And you want to leave this in your oven for about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. That's why you don't want to add too many. You don't want to crowd your potatoes. Just kind of add a nice layer in your baking dish. It depends how big your baking dish is. So pretty simple and easy. And once these are done, I also like the leftovers to use them in different things. Maybe you can throw them in omelets and things. It's really fun to try different recipes with already cooked food. Add this. Let's make some brilliant peppers. You can see how beautiful they look, very fresh. And what you want to do is kind of get the seeds out and kind of chop them. And when you're chopping your peppers, try not to put them like this, because then your knife can easily slide and you can cut yourself. That wouldn't be pleasant. Let's just chop these. And these beautiful colors are just irresistible. When I see them in the store, just have to buy and figure out what am I going to do with them. And sometimes it's a good problem to have, really. Let's see if our pan is warm. Add some olive oil here. And if you remember, if you watched my show before, just give everything a minute or so. Even 30 seconds is good in between every step, because what you want to do is give every ingredient its own time to kind of really come about. Because if you add everything at the same time, it's just not going to work. So warm up your pan, warm up your oil, then add some whole cumin. I can see the oil is starting to smoke. And your whole cumin seeds, they start to make this noise. That's what you want in your oil. If your oil is cold, it's just not going to be very good. And so it can cook, but for optimal flavors, give everything a little bit of time. Let's chop the zucchini, or slice it more or less. I tend to lose a lot of vegetables in the kitchen when I'm chopping them. They seem to just go everywhere. But I wanted to actually let our audience know that I'm getting quite a bit of feedback about our show, and that is wonderful. And some tips as well. One of my audience members, she has sent me about, because I always talk about onions, they make my eyes really and my nose runny, and she suggested that what has worked for her is to leave the onion in the refrigerator before you want to chop it. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. So thank you for the wonderful tip. Keep them coming. It's always fun to know what other people are doing and what if they tried the recipe and how it worked out. That's what I like to hear. And sometimes I get people where they say, well, we watch your show. And I say, well, so did you try the recipes? Well, no. Oh, what good is that? Please go home and cook. That's what this is about. This is a cooking show. So I hope you get a chance to try these recipes. Believe me, they're very easy. Let's get all of the zucchini in. And this is really one of my favorite dishes, that I can just make some rice or couscous, and that will be dinner. Very healthy. Let's throw in all our zucchinis in. Stir it one time. And I leave the skin on because it has a lot of vitamins in it. And also, it looks so beautiful. So why bother? Now throw in your peppers. Let's add the red one as well. And you can add green peppers as well, if you like. But I had green from zucchini, so I didn't bother to do that. Let's add some red. And then we'll add some cilantro, some spices. Our tandoori masala just goes very well with this. And then Laura will show you how to make that wonderful turkey loaf. I have actually never made one, so that will be really good for me. And we'll see how this meal comes together. I think I'm not going to use the yellow one. I think we have enough peppers in here. We can always use the pepper for something else. I like to throw it in the rice as well. It just adds wonderful color with basmati rice and some of the turmeric, salt. It's beautiful. Let's add some spices. Well, let's add some salt first. And then add some of our tandoori masala. A bit of that. And some turmeric. You know, as we always talk about, turmeric is just so good for you. Take every opportunity to add it to your dishes. Let's add some fire roasted tomatoes. I just love these tomatoes. Such an easy way to add flavor so quickly. And look at these colors. I just want to show you before we add some cilantro. And look at that. Let's get some green in here. How beautiful that looks. When this dish comes together, it will just be a centerpiece on your dining table. And then let's add some garbanzo beans, and you can just use a can. Sometimes what I do is soak the garbanzo beans and then boil them and leave them in the freezer. I have to get the lid out. You just want to drain them. And throw them in here.